You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God.
Tu es l'image de Dieu.
I hold you in my heart.
Tu es l'image de l'amour.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God.
Tu sei la luce di Dio.
I hold you in my heart.
Tu sei il volto dell'amore.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. The face of love. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are my family. You are my family. You are the face of love. The face of love. You are the face of love. The face of love. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are my family. You are my family. You are the face of love. The face of love. You are the face of God. The face of God. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are a part of me. A part of me. You are the face of God. The face of God. You are the face of God.
Eres la luz de Dios.
I hold you in my heart.
Eres la cara del amor.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face
Tu sei la luce di Dio.
You are the face
You
of
are
God.
the face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of
es
God.
l'image de Dieu.
You are the face
You
of
are the face of God.
You are the face
Tu
of
sei
God.
la luz de Dios.
You are the face
You
of
are the face of God.
God. You are the face
Tu
of God.
ruach Elohim.
You are the face
You
of
are the face of God.
You are the face of
Eres la luz de Dios.
You are the face of You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face face of God. You are the face of God.
Tu es l'image de Dieu.
I hold you in my heart.
Tu es l'image de l'amour.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God.
Tu sei la luce di Dio.
I hold you in my heart.
Tu sei il volto dell'amore.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. The face of love. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are my family. You are my family. You are the face of love. The face of love. You are the face of love. The face of love. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are my family. You are my family. You are the face of love. The face of love. You are the face of God. The face of God. I hold you in my heart. You in my heart. You are a part of me. A part of me. You are the face of God. The face of God. You are the face of God.
Eres la luz de Dios.
I hold you in my heart.
Eres la cara del amor.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face
Tu
of
sei la luce di Dio.
You are the face
You
of
are
the face of God. You are the face
Tu
of
es
God.
l'image de Dieu.
You are the face
You
of
are
the face of God. You are the face
Tu
of
sei
God.
la luz de Dio.
You are the face
You
of
are
the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. The face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face of God.
Good morning and welcome to Spiritual Life Center's online Sunday celebration. We invite you to join with us this morning in the singing of Surely the Presence.
Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
And let us now begin our service in prayer. Loving Spirit, we come together in prayer this morning to celebrate our growing awareness of your presence in and through our lives. And so as we do this, we open our minds and hearts to this day, to this opportunity to share in spirit. We release all of our prayer concerns for our loved ones, for ourselves, and for our world into your heart, into your arms, knowing that we are always enfolded in the arms of divine love. We release and let go and know that we are indeed love and light. And so we give thanks this morning for our growing awareness of light in our lives. We give thanks for friendship. We give thanks for the ability to share with one another through the magic of the internet. And we give these thanks in the name and through the power of the living, loving, and indwelling Christ. And so it is. Amen.
One light, one sun lighting everyone. One world turning everyone. One world, one world home for everyone. One dream, one song heard by everyone. One love, one heart warming everyone. One hope, one joy, one love filling everyone. One light, one sun lighting everyone. One light warming everyone.
As we prepare for meditation this morning, I invite you to focus on this verse from the book of Job, chapter 22, verse 21. Agree with God and be at peace. In this way, good will come to you. Agree with God and peace will come to you. And so as we move into this quiet time of prayer, I invite you to allow your mind and heart to agree with the very vibration of spirit. Allow your heart rate, your heartbeat to come into an agreement and an alignment with the vibration of spirit. Allow your breath to become easy and relaxed, knowing that you are breathing the very breath of spirit. And as you come into this perfect alignment with spirit, allow every heartbeat, every breath to be in harmony with the divine. And as we rest into this stillness, this harmony with spirit, I invite you to allow these words and affirmations to be the words and affirmations of your own heart. I relax into the stillness and peace. Turning inward, becoming still from within, I relax my hold on thoughts and emotions. My body and brain respond to the command of my word. I agree with divine peace, by which each of my concerns soften. In the presence of peace, I experience deep peace. I thrive in the healing stream of divine life. I agree with God, the source of eternal vitality. Whenever I feel weak or unwell, I turn to God. I agree with the ever-flowing stream of God life, continually renewing and blossoming in every way. I celebrate my capacity to heal and to thrive each day. God is my strength. Therefore, I am strong. Whenever winds of challenge or change blow, I am able to stand steady and stable, for God is my strength. I agree with the spiritual strength within as I persist in the knowledge that I am always grounded in God. I am strong, stable, courageous, and tenacious. Centered in God, my hopes and dreams blossom. I agree with God and my God nature. By the power of divine abundance, I am able to notice and appreciate the good in front of me. By the power of plenty, I peacefully and passionately pursue my dreams. I live in the harmony of divine love. Through times of joy and sorrow, I rely upon divine love flowing from within. I agree with the love that is God, the love that is my God nature to extend compassion, kindness, unity, and harmony in every circumstance. As I agree with divine love, I am the pure and powerful gift of love and light in the world. In unity with God and with one another, we are in a state of agreement. We agree with the good that becomes possible by recognizing and claiming the powerful peace, life, strength, abundance, and love that is God. May we each live into our claim throughout the days ahead as a blessing in this world. I am in agreement with God, and I find peace and strength and light. In agreement with God, aligned with the divine, we prepare to return our attention to the breath, noticing the breath as it comes in and through our bodies, and then to our physical presence, to the room around us. And we breathe into this time and this place. And as we do, let us give thanks and praise as we sing together our Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, which art in heaven, Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. There is a candle in every soul, some brightly burning, some dark and cold. There is a spirit who brings the fire, ignites the candle, and makes his home. Carry your candle, run to the darkness, seek out the hopeless, confused and torn. Hold out your candle for all to see it. Take your candle and go light your world. Take your candle and go light your world. Frustrated brother, see how he's tried to light his own candle some other way. See now your sister, she's been robbed and lied to, still holds a candle without a flame. Carry your candle, run to the darkness, seek out the lonely, the tired and worn. Hold out your candle for all to see it. Take your candle and go light your world. Take your candle and go light your world. We are a family whose hearts are blazing, so let's raise our candles and light up the sky, praying to our Father in the name of Jesus. Make us a beacon in darkest times. Carry your candle, run to the darkness, seek out the helpless, deceived and poor. Hold out your candle for all to see it. Take your candle and go light your world. Take your candle and go light your world.
Thank you, Nancy, for your beautiful songs this morning. As always, your singing is just such a joy and such an inspiration. And it's truly inspiring to think about carrying our candle, carrying our light into the world. And it's especially inspiring to think of ourselves as part of that one love, that one light, one sun. And the sun that warms us all. Oh, and boy, has the sun on this planet done a great job of warming us all over the last couple of weeks. Am I right? Here in Michigan, and through most of our country, we've experienced a considerable heat wave over the last couple of weeks. And perhaps like me, you've been trying to find some refuge from the heat, refuge in the shade. Ways to cool yourself, like, perhaps wearing one of those frozen neck scarves that Steve does when he wears out in the garden, or walking, as I do sometimes, through the neighbor's sprinkler on my walk instead of around the sprinkler. Oh, that feels so good, a little bit of coolness in the heat. Or my personal favorite is standing in front of the refrigerator. Don't tell Steve about this, but standing in front of the refrigerator and just swinging the door and letting that cool air create a breeze in front of me. All the while hearing the disembodied voice of my father saying, "Close that refrigerator door, you're letting all the cold out," right? I'm sure you've all experienced that, and perhaps just really trying to find a bit of shade or planning your outdoor activities around when you could find some refuge in the shade has been how you've greeted this incredible heat wave. But how do we find refuge in the shade when life heats up? How do we find that when life begins to heat up? I mean, certainly we can find a little bit of shade or coolness in our times of prayer and meditation. Maybe, if it were open, we could even go to a pool or a spa to get a little bit of coolness in the heat of life. But we might also take refuge in the internal place of shade, also known as our shadow side. Wait, what? The shadow side? I didn't know you were going to talk about the shadow side. That might be kind of heavy and a little scary, right? If you knew that talking about our shadow side was our topic today and you tuned in anyway, bravo, your bravery will definitely pay off. And if you didn't know what we were getting into, but you're brave enough to stay tuned in, kudos to you. Because gaining an understanding of the shadow side allows the radiant light of our true selves to shine in all kinds of weather, even when the heat is on. And that light of understanding can help us to impact not only our own shadow side, but ultimately to impact the collective shadow side. And that seems like a worthwhile project to me. The shadow side is a term that was first used by Carl Jung to represent the repressed and denied parts of self. And it was popularized by the American poet Robert Bly in a book called A Little Book on the Human Shadow. And in it, Bly says, "We are each born with a 360-degree personality. As infants, we expressed the full breadth of our human nature, all 360 degrees. As we grew, we learned certain slices of our 360-degree pie were unacceptable. According to Bly, it's as if we threw these parts of ourselves into a great big bag, stuffed them down, and we've been carrying them over our shoulder ever since, hiding those things from childhood, hiding the things from life that have caused us pain or caused us concern. Like, let's see, this one. Oh yes, the time when Sister Mary Clarence shamed me for something I didn't even do. And then shamed me some more because I cried when I couldn't convince her that I was innocent. I learned that authorities might accuse me of something that wasn't true. And that when they did, that trying to complain about it or crying was something I should stuff in the bag. Something to pull out and take a look at. Oh, and here's another one. The time that I almost threw a rock at my playmate because she had the audacity to pick my favorite dandelion out of my yard. Wow. Yeah, that's something to take a look at. Stuffing anger or expressing anger, but expressing in healthier ways, perhaps. And this one, well, that's just that unspeakable one. We'll just stuff that right back down in the bag, you know. I mean, don't really want to go there, right? You know, that's how it is, right? We like to keep those things stuffed into the bag. We often want to shove those shadow parts of us back into the bag. But here's what Unity Minister Lori Boyd says in her book, Dark Matters, Discovering Wholeness in the Shadows. She says, our culture teaches us to fear the experience of the dark, especially that inner darkness that is our shadow self. In fact, we have grown so afraid over the years that we have built up an imaginary wall between us and the darkness. We have developed rituals and psychologies and religions and pills to distract us from the darkness. We have focused on the light, seeking to eliminate the darkness. And yet, in the end, the darkness is always there with us, waiting. Waiting. What? Are you kidding? I thought we were light. Aren't we beings of light, expressions of the divine, whole and complete? Well, yeah, we are. I've said those very words. And this is totally and completely true. We are all expressions of the divine, whole, complete, and perfect. There is no darkness, only light. In the absolute. In the absolute reality, with a capital R, these words are absolutely true. Experienced from the perspective of infinite oneness in this capital R reality, we are indeed pure expressions of God, radiant, whole, perfect, and complete. There is only God, there is only good, there is only light. And then there is the relative with a lowercase r reality. The reality as experienced from the perspective of our human existence, through our five senses, through conditioned responses, through human reasoning and limited human consciousness. In the absolute, we experience oneness. In the relative, we experience two-ness, up and down, love and fear, joy and sorrow, good and bad, happiness and sadness, peace and anger, light and dark. In this human experience, we get to live in both of these realities. So let's be very, very clear. The absolute truth of our being is that we are expressions of infinite oneness, whole, perfect, and complete. We are the light. And on this human journey, we experience the false illusion of separation. We experience the down, the fear, the sorrow, the sadness, the bad, the anger, the dark, the things we've been dragging around in that bag and stuffing down over and over again. The problem, though, is that as much as we stuff them down, they have a tendency to seep out. Oh, right? Like those times that we find ourselves being irrationally irritable with a partner or a coworker, or in huge ways, like being upset and unable to function over the seemingly impossible divide in our nation. And so those shadows that have been buried and stuffed in our bag, they begin to come out one at a time, or sometimes even in groups, until they seem overshadowing and overpowering. They don't come out because we chose them to come out. They come out because the heat has come up. And so we have to find our place of refuge in the shade, because healing begins when we begin to explore and understand and integrate all parts of ourselves. Reverend Boyd continues in this book, Dark Matters. She continues to say, in the end, the darkness is always with us, waiting. However, if we learn to step through that fear, get rid of those, if we learn to step through that fear, there is another possibility, another road less traveled. On this road, we learn to accept the darkness, to engage in it, and to engage it in dialogue, and to use it as a tool for our spiritual growth. On this road, we learn that darkness is not the enemy of light, but simply the other half of light. We learn that our goal is not light, but wholeness. We learn that true spiritual wholeness is not a denial of the dark side of ourselves, but rather an embracing of both our inner light and our inner darkness to an integrated, healthy, transcendent whole. Wise words from Reverend Boyd. And they reflect the same sentiment as this parable from Jesus from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 13, verse 33. And he tells us a little bit about the kingdom of heaven. He compares it to many things, but in this parable, he compares the kingdom of heaven is like that a woman took and hid in 3 measures of flour until all of it was leavened. Now, leaven is like yeast, right? It causes something to expand and to grow, but only when it is added to something. As long as it stays in that little package of active dry yeast, it doesn't really do anything. It's simply potential. And in this parable, Jesus guides us to accept, reclaim, and integrate all parts of ourselves, even those that we have labeled as impure or unacceptable. The flour, the 3 measures of flour, they represent the parts of ourselves, spirit, soul, and body, our higher self, our spiritual self, and our physical self living in this relative reality. And by integrating and bringing light, that leaven or yeast, to all parts of ourselves, we integrate those parts of ourselves and we begin to acknowledge them as catalysts that allow for expansion and transformation. Remember, the yeast can do nothing of itself. It must be added to the parts of ourselves. We must bring that light into all aspects of our lives. And so how do we do this? How do we add this leaven or light into our lives? It's first by accepting that we are a part of the divine and that we are love and light. And we allow love and light to overcome fear, even our fear of the hidden self. Charles Fillmore, in his book, Teach Us to Pray, said, the energy of light through which creative mind rules heaven and earth, spirit and soul and body, heaven and earth, is amenable to man, meaning available to man, when his mind of love synchronizes with the creative mind, synchronizes with love. When we agree with God, when we are synchronized with love and light, we begin to bring that love and light into the places in us that we think are shadows. And when we do, we expand in consciousness and we return to wholeness. We rise like the bread that has yeast in it. American scholar Brené Brown, in her book, Daring Greatly, wrote, only when we are brave enough to explore the darkness will we discover the infinite power of our light. So I wonder this morning if we are brave enough to explore the darkness just a bit by engaging in a dialogue with what we perceive to be an aspect of our darkness. If so, I'd like to invite you to come along with me on a guided meditation, a little walk through the woods. And so I invite you to first close your eyes or allow them to become soft. And next, exhale, emptying your lungs and then taking a deep, slow inhale, filling your lungs. And continue with the deep, slow exhales and inhales as you begin to walk with me in the woods. You find yourself walking on a path in the woods. It's a sunny day, but under the trees it is cool and shady. You feel a slight breeze on your skin. You smell the scent of pine and hear the leaves crackle under your feet as you walk. All is quiet and peaceful. You hear the birds singing and you notice with delight a squirrel darting through the trees. You walk along and eventually you come to a small clearing. And in this clearing there is a small house. It looks sweet and friendly. You walk up to the house and you knock on the door. The door opens and a person is standing there. You greet each other. And after a moment, you invite this person to come outside and sit with you in the cool shade to talk. And as you are walking toward the bench, you realize that this person is an aspect of your shadow self. But unlike before, you are not afraid of it. You don't want to run away or shove it back in the bag. In fact, you are intrigued by it. You have some empathy and compassion for it. And you actually want to engage in a dialogue with it. And so you sit on the bench. And after you are both settled in comfortably, you look the person in the eyes and simply ask, what purpose do you serve? And now listen silently as the person speaks, listening not only with your ears, but with your heart open wide. And when they have finished, ask, what do you need from me? And again, just listen with both your ears and your heart. And then ask, what gift do you have for me today? And when he or she has answered, allow yourself to feel the gratitude that comes up for you over this gift. What gift do you have for me today? Feeling this sense of gratitude, you stand to leave and you ask this person if they would like to come with you. And you know that either way is okay, whether they return with you or whether they go back into the house, either way is just fine. And you walk back into the forest and return along the same cool, shady path, noticing the birds, the crunch of leaves beneath your feet, and the cool breeze under the shade of trees, feeling a deep new connection to the absolute, to your integrated, healthy, transcendent wholeness, ready to be the true light that you are, ready to carry your candle into the world. And so as we return our attention to this time in this place, I invite you to affirm in your mind and your heart, I am light, I am love. as you open your eyes. And just take a breath into this now moment. And we give thanks for this time of meditation, but also we give thanks to Reverend Lori Boyd for this meditation from her book, Dark Matters. The messages today of Robert Bly and Reverend Boyd and Jesus are to embrace, to love, and to bring light to all aspects of ourselves, even those that we may have learned to hide. For it is in understanding those hidden parts of ourselves and shedding light on them that we experience the wholeness of spirit. Now, that doesn't mean that if one of my hidden slices of pie is throwing a rock at my playmate, that it's okay to throw rocks. It means that I embrace the child that was compelled to do so. I forgive that part of myself and awaken to light and love. It doesn't mean that if I was shamed or hurt by someone else that I cast blame or carried judgment on that person who shamed or hurt me. It means that I shed light on the part of myself that believed that I could ever be anything less than whole. As you begin to shed light on these hidden aspects of yourself and embrace the full 360 degrees of your human self, you will rise. You will rise like leavened bread into a fullness of your spiritual self. You will recognize that in reality, with a capital R, you are an individualized expression of love and light. You will carry your candle and light your world. You will be a beacon of love and light in the world, all 360 degrees of you, experiencing and sharing love and light. God bless.
Gathered together, holding on tight, here for each other. We are love and light, shining, shining, the illuminating holy fire.
Thank you to Kim Char Meredith and Janice Stanfield for sharing their love and light in that wonderful song. Love and light. That's what we are. That's what you are. I hope that you have been blessed this morning by the message and by the music that we've shared with you. And now in this moment, I'd like to give you an opportunity to bless the Spiritual Life Center with your love, your prayers, your light, and if possible, your financial support. Your love offerings and financial support make it possible for us to continue our mission of bringing a unity message of hope to the world. So I invite you now to join with us in our love offering prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. And so it is. And if you are indeed sharing a financial gift, there are 3 ways that you can give to Spiritual Life Center. One is online giving by going to www.slctroy.com/give. Or you can mail a check or money order to our mailing address at 41340 Fox Run Road, number 106, Novi, Michigan, 48377. Or if you prefer, you can call Reverend Ron with your credit card information at 248-925-6214. We'd also like to take this opportunity to welcome anyone joining us for the first time today and invite you to join our email list by visiting our website and clicking on Join Mail, which is up on the upper right of the screen. This will help us to keep you informed of events happening here at Spiritual Life Center and eventually help us to get to know you a little bit better. Prayer requests. If you have any prayer requests, you can send those to us at ronaldfscott@gmail.com. And we will send your prayer request on to our prayer team as well as to Silent Unity. You may also call Reverend Ron with your prayer requests at 248-925-6214. And additionally, Silent Unity is available to pray with you 24/7 at 1-800-NOW-PRAY. And with that, I'd like to invite you to, after our peace song and benediction, I'd like to invite you to join us for our connection time at 11 o'clock or as soon as we're concluded here. You should have received an email with the link for this time of connection on Zoom. If not, please contact us and we'll get that information to you. And again, if you are new or visiting with us for the first time, getting on our email list is the way to get the link to that virtual coffee hour. So I'd like to invite us all now to join together in our peace song and benediction. Thank you for being with us this morning.
Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be with God as creator. Family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it
And now as you go forth, know that the light of God surrounds you, the love of God enfolds you.
The Lord bless thee and keep thee.
The power of God protects you.
The Lord make his face to shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee.
The presence of God watches over you.
The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee and grant thee peace.
Wherever you are, God is.
Amen. Amen.
Go your way rejoicing. All is truly well.